everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Mikael, and today I'm going to do it's a story time, but it's kind of like my trigger warning domestic violence one. Not necessarily like a story time, but it is my story. Today this one is going to be about SA. If you don't know what that means, I don't know, look it up. I don't think you can say it on YouTube, so I'm not gonna say it. But I only wanted to tell this story time because I knew eventually I would. I just didn't know how, I suppose. I mean, I guess everything is just saying it, but I guess I don't know. I never really thought I was fully gonna tell the story. But I had hopes that I would eventually get to the point in my life where I felt brave enough to tell the story and hope it helps someone to know that they're not alone, to know that you can overcome these things, to know that you do grow from these things, to know that you can forgive, and to know that you can live a happy, healed life regardless. And I want to start off by saying in no way do I feel my story specifically is worse or maybe even, and I know you shouldn't compare these kind of things, but I don't think my story is as bad as people who have gone through SA. But I want to tell it anyways because for the longest time, I kind of didn't want, I'll get to that, but I kind of didn't want to express this or tell my story because I felt like people were going to look at it like it's not that bad. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I had some sort of survivor's guilt because my story isn't as bad as other people's. However, I'm going to tell it anyways because it is my story, and I started this channel to tell my truth and help people tell theirs. So here we go. So I guess you could say this story, or how this even came about, takes place at a later time in my life. However, growing up, like I've told this story. I think I told this in my bullying story time, where I was bullied a lot. Growing up, I grew up around a lot of sexual activity. Not necessarily me. Well, yes, but not necessarily like the sexual activity that I had or did as a child was basically like kids seeing adults do things and then being inappropriate with each other versus actually having, intercourse myself, or at least having intercourse with the opposite sex. Like, I didn't actually lose my virginity until my first boyfriend. I'm tired of saying loves. My first boyfriend in high school when I was like 15. But before that, I had been very sexually active with the same sex. Because I grew up. Well, I don't want to say because, but I'm sure seeing that makes you think it's normal for a long time. And I didn't actually start realizing it wasn't normal until I was like 11, 12. I want to say 12 is when I the best way I could say it is I woke up. Like, it felt like a feeling of like I woke up and realized that. I think I always knew that, right? When you're a kid, you kind of always know when things are effed, they're effed. However, I think it was the first time I had realized that it terrified me how effed things were. I was 12 years old. And as far as me being sexually active with the same sex, I had put an end to that. And that was the end of that. I had never been sexually active with the same sex after that. Which sounds so weird saying that. But I don't think I ever even told anybody that I was Anyways, because it's nothing to be proud of, so I don't know why I would tell anybody that. But I guess when people ask me as an adult if I am bisexual, I say no because I don't think I ever really was bisexual. I was just afraid to be with the opposite sex because that seems scarier than being with the same sex, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like I was experimenting with the same sex, but I didn't actually have an interest in, like, having girlfriends when I got older. I just knew I didn't want to lose my virginity, if that makes sense. I don't know if people still consider that losing your virginity, though. Guess I'm gonna find out. Anyways, I grew up around a lot of sex, basically. A lot of sexual activity. I had seen a lot of adults having sex. Whether they were hiding it or not, I think we always knew, because they weren't doing a very good job of hiding it when they were hiding it, or they were so drunk that they didn't care about hiding it. Or I guess they assumed, like, you know, it's nighttime, kids are asleep, like kids don't wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, things like that. So yeah, I've seen a lot of sexual activity. I will say that I think my parents attempted in their own way to hide it from us. But, I mean, the memory I have, yeah, I don't think they tried hard enough. So one of the things that I rarely ever talk about, outside of me having had been with the same sex as a child a lot, is that a lot of these, I guess you want to say, sexual relationships that I had as a child were with my own members of my own family or close friends. So it's not like I was going out dating. I was a kid, so I was, I guess you could say, experimenting with the people around me. And I also have realized that happens a lot in like families with a lot of trauma, but no one ever says it. And I guess me saying it probably is wild, but I'm trying to paint a picture here. So, and to be quite honest, I'm a pretty honest person. So I don't see the point of saying that when I was 12 years old, I did a lot. I was 12. What the fuck am I gonna do about it now? Other than heal. And hopefully heal other people. Which brings me to a point, actually. Y'all gotta stop having sex around y'all kids. They know. They know. It doesn't matter if you close the door. It doesn't matter if you think you're being quiet. And some of y'all low-key be weird as fuck, because y'all will try to be quiet, but y'all try to be quiet as if y'all are hiding from adults, and try to make it. I feel like some people try to hide the fact that they're having sex around their children as if their children are these, like, strangers. And I feel like, I don't want to say it, but hopefully you know where I'm going, where they almost get more turned on by the fact that they're hiding. But you have to understand, these are children. These aren't adults that you're like, you know what I'm saying? You want to be kinky. These are children, right? So, oh, my throat chakra. These are children you're hiding from and getting turned on by you hiding. Stop doing that shit, because they know. I'm telling you right now, we knew, my siblings, we knew. They were loud as fuck sometimes, or sometimes even the energy is fucking different. And everyone's not an empath. Everyone doesn't feel energy, but I know, right? And then y'all come out like they did, and y'all come out like, oh yeah, we wasn't doing nothing. Like, it's cute. It's not fucking cute. Stop doing that shit. I don't know how. I mean, I understand that in relationships, obviously you want to be sexually active. If you have children, it's not like you're never gonna have, right, until they move out. I get that. But I feel like in some ways, there are ways where you just, like, you know, you're just doing your thing, right? I feel like sometimes people do that and they know their children are awake, is what I'm trying to say. Or your children are in the room and you're just assuming that they're asleep. That shit's fucking weird. Stop doing that. Like, be an adult. You know you put your kids to sleep. You know they ate good. You know they had a bath. You know they're knocked out. They're going to sleep. I mean, sometimes you can't help that. Sometimes shit just happens, right? And y'all doing your thing, and kids wake up in the middle of the night. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about the people who want to go hide away and do a quickie when your kids is wide the fuck awake and you know it. I'm talking about the people who do not properly feed their children. Y'all half-ass feed y'all kids and then wonder why they always waking up in the middle of the night. They're hungry. They're thirsty. You know what I mean? They're not going to bed feeling safe and warm So of course they're gonna wake up in the middle of the night. Y'all be having fucking, I couldn't sleep last night because this. Obviously, that's what humans do. If you're not comfortably going to sleep, you're not going to sleep good. And don't no child want to wake up in the middle of the night with their fucking parents acting like goddamn weirdos when they know their kids aren't either properly sleeping or awake. Or in the fucking room. I'm sorry, I'm not even supposed to be cussing. Or in the freaking room. That's weird. That's putting energy and entity on your children who are going to have these sexual traumas when they get older. They're going to have sexual traumas. They're going to have these fucking little demons that's got them over here thinking that they want to start experimenting and shit. Stop doing that. That shit weird. Anyway, my parents were like that. So basically it's a house full of fucking weirdos doing weird shit, right? But I want to point out that, well, I guess not point out. I want to admit something that I knew for a very long time. That there was sexual activity towards children that people don't know that I know about. Let's just say that. There were certain adults, including my father, who were sexually active towards children and didn't know that I know. Probably to this day, I suppose. This is the first time I'm ever admitting that I used to find pictures on my father's phone of women, that's fucking crazy. Excuse my language, that's freaking crazy. Of girls my age. So, and the story time I told about, and the story time I told about me having to fight this girl, right? My parents asking me to fight this girl, one of the, I guess, street bullies. And they had me like basically outside fighting her. Not had me, but she kept trying to bully me. And at the time my nose was effed up because I had to get stitches, because that's a whole nother story time. I used to get jacked up when I was a kid. But I ended up getting stitches. And so they were basically telling this little girl, she was a year older than me. And they were telling her that, like she can't fight me or whatever because I messed up. But she kept trying to bully me. And then that's when they basically sicked me on her or whatever. My father had inappropriate pictures of her in his phone. That is when I was 12 years old. And that is when I had realized that there was so much sexual immorality around us that it terrified me. And that is when I had decided I no longer wanted to participate. And by participate, I don't mean like we were actively, openly, as children, participating with adults. It wasn't that. Like the adults were doing adult shit, but we were mimicking what the adults were doing. But when I saw that bridge being crossed, it terrified me. Because it wasn't the first time that I had experienced grown men, my father's friends, flirting with me. The first time I ever had a situation where like a grown man was flirting with me was on Valentine's Day. And I remember, no, it was Father's Day. And I remember telling my father, Happy Father's Day. And his friend was right next to him. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. It was the first time I got my teeth knocked out. Well, not knocked out, but I busted my tooth out. This tooth right here was chipped for like forever. And I've constantly had to get it because that part of my tooth was just gone. It was around that same time. And the guy was like, you're not going to tell me Happy Father's Day? But in a flirtatious way. And it scared me. But I don't think I understood, I was super young then. So, like, that's 6 years later, and I'm 12. When I saw that picture, it made me remember that situation with my dad's friend. And he never said anything to his friend. No, I don't know if he heard it. Like, maybe if he was, like, drunk and, like, it just didn't, like, faze him or whatever. But when I saw that picture, I guess I had realized that there was a lot wrong with everything. I've never told anybody that I saw pictures of her in his phone, though. I saw a lot of inappropriate pictures in his phone. And yeah, some of them were kids. So when we ended up moving from that area, life changed very drastically. Like, it was far as like parties and all that shit, it just completely ended when we moved from that house. Yeah, so my parents were like kind of in the house a lot, but they were still like, the domestic violence was still running rampant. Them being like extra with their sexual activities was still crazy, and the drinking was still crazy. But it there was basically no like friends and outside activity and in and out the house type stuff. You know what I mean? It was like normal. Like, it felt like life was normal, which is crazy to say, but it felt like life was normal because it wasn't all this extra shit. Basically, I started hitting puberty. And when I started to hit puberty, everything that we knew, I suppose, changed. We went from being able to be outside a lot. We went from like being out late as hell, being out too late, you know, getting to like run the streets with our bikes and be with our friends and sleepovers, and being able to have male friends, you know, boys. Me constantly fighting a lot and getting bullied a lot, and basically everybody was running the damn streets. But when we moved, everything drastically changed, and I hit puberty. So when I started hitting puberty, I guess I was still going through the chaos of being bullied in school, but not the same way. It became less of people trying to fight me and more of people trying to put me down as a girl. Like, you got little titties, or you know, you got a stick body, or you got a boy body, or shit like that. You know, your hair is never done, you're not girly enough, because I was very much a tomboy. Like, you know, basically like you look like a little boy. No one ever said I look like a boy. They just said I act and dress like a boy, and I needed to be more this, or I needed to be more girly, or I needed to be, you need to sit down, and you need to cross your legs and type shit. You need to dress better, because I used to wear like cut off shorts. It was my basketball shorts before I even knew what basketball shorts was. Yeah, so shit like that. And I started to, of course, I'm still making male friends in the neighborhood. So I'm still thinking I'm gonna get to rip and run the streets the same way, not in that not in the sexual activity way, like same sex type stuff, because as I said, I put an end to that. But I thought I would still be able to have friends. At this time, I was like 13, 14. You know, I thought I'd still be able to have friends, because at this point, I'm very fucking responsible, right? Like, I've done everything. I've been everywhere. So I thought it was strange that all of a sudden, it's like they didn't trust me to go down the street with like a female friend, or I wasn't allowed to go to the store. Like, you know, they used to make us go to the grocery store to pick up food and shit like that. So it's like, basically they started to take away those things. And I genuinely used to feel like they were just jealous because I had friends, and because they moved, they didn't have friends anymore. Like, people weren't like coming over to their house, you know, they weren't having block parties and barbecues. And so I low-key used to feel like they were jealous. And not like, oh, they're jealous of me, but just like, they're just mad they're not having fun. Like, in that kid way, like, oh, they're just mad they don't get to have no fun no more. So basically, it got to the point where I couldn't even leave the porch. I couldn't leave my street. It got like, it was no point of even having a bike anymore, because I guess our fun was riding the bike down the street and turn back around and back down the street. And I'm not saying like that's probably not in a sense normal for a parent who, or I guess a father who is watching their daughters grow up and they're going through puberty, so now they have like bodies, and you know, you're kind of worried about weirdos and shit like that. But it was just hard for me going from the chaos that was our lives, constantly moving and all this shit, to, I guess, seeming more stable. But it's like, now we all got to be bored because you're bored. That's how it felt. But, you know, life was, I guess, on the up. Like, we were living in a better area. It was quieter. We didn't have to worry about shooting. I didn't have to fucking see the things I used to see. And I don't know if my siblings ever saw those things, but from what I know, they did not see the things that I saw. Maybe my one you know, because she's my age. But I still don't even think she's seen the things that I've seen. Or at least maybe she just doesn't want to say that. But, you know, that's her prerogative. Anyways, yeah, so I'm sure a lot of me felt a bit rebellious teenager-y because life started to suck and I couldn't have friends no more. But I never rebelled to the point where I would sneak out. Never snuck out. Well, no, one time. But this is when shit was chaotic, where we used to like sneak. Where we used to like jump out the fucking window type shit. But this is when life was still chaotic. At this point, when life had calmed down and me as a teenager, I did not sneak out. I didn't used to sneak out. I didn't used to do any of that. I used to stay out late and type shit. I didn't do none of that. We followed the rules for the most part. For the most part. I think one time I helped a cousin sneak out so she could see her man. They didn't know about that, but you know now. Well, I don't think they watch this shit, but it's not shit. We're good here. But I don't think they will. Who cares? Who fucking cares? We're old. Anyways, yeah. So, you know, I followed the rules. I'd sit on the porch and be bored as hell and watch the fucking sunrise and the sunset type shit. But of course, you know, I was still attracted to boys, or I started to become attracted to boys. And so I did have a couple of male friends, but I didn't do anything with them. I didn't try to sneak with them or anything. So then they got to the point where they would but they would like hang out on the porch with me. And then my dad got jealous about that. So he's like, no, I don't want these niggas on my porch. So basically it got to the point where I could not have male friends at all. And then high school comes around. I was 14, so then I ended up going to high school. And then that's when I got my first boyfriend. And when I got my when I got my first boyfriend, I did hide that. So let me not say I didn't sneak around. That's sneaking. I mean, I didn't sneak out the house type shit. I didn't really do that. But that one time I did that with my cousin, or I helped her sneak out. Yeah, like we weren't bad kids. Like we really weren't. I don't know how to explain it because after what I just said, it would sound like we were. But we really weren't. We used to have to cook and clean. We used to have to change diapers. Like we were literally little maids. We didn't really. After a while, we didn't really get to fuck up, if that makes sense. So of course kids fuck up. Kids are gonna be kids. So when we had those moments though, the punishment was so brutal that there was not, you know what I mean? Like it'd be like once a month probably. Like somebody breaks something, but you're so fucking terrified that you're about to get the skin beat off you. That, yeah. And then there's constant turmoil in the house that has nothing to do with us as kids. Yeah, everybody was in fear. Let's be honest. Everybody was in fear like fucking 24/7. You know? So, shit. I would read most of the time. Find something to entertain myself quietly. But I'm not going to say we didn't mess up. Like, you know, we got our asses whooped sometimes for good reason. I don't know if you could whoop ass for good reason. Not the way that we were getting our asses whooped. But punished. Like, oh, you know, you broke something. You get in trouble type shit. But yeah, so fasting forward, I had my first boyfriend. I was not supposed to have a boyfriend, obviously. But hear me out, right? Hear me the fuck out. When I was 14, like I said, I can be pretty honest, or I can be pretty forthcoming, I should say. So I asked my parents, because I wanted to be an actress. I still do, but I wanted to be an actress, so I was asking my parents, like, hey, when can we have a boyfriend? Because, you know, one day I want to be in a movie, and what if I have to, like, kiss a boy? And they're like, kiss a boy? So now they're knowing that there's an interest being sparked in me about boys. And they're like, well, you can't have a boyfriend until you're 15. But when I asked this, I was like 13, 14. So obviously when I'm in 14, I start high school. I'm not supposed to have a boyfriend at 14. But I get a boyfriend at 14. They don't know this. However, I had been planning, like, okay, when I turn 15, I'm going to tell them I have a boyfriend. As soon as I turn 15, I can't have no boyfriend till I'm 16. So I'm like, I'm gonna hold out. I don't want to say never. We used to go from school to the mall to school. Or no, we used to go to school to the mall and then I'd go home. And that's it. I didn't go to his house. He didn't come to my house. You know what I mean? We'd be texting and like, but I didn't get to do anything with my boyfriend outside of school really, or school hours. We'd spend like a fucking hour at the mall after school. That's it. We didn't get to do things. We didn't get to have lives. Our parents were my parents were extremely strict. His wasn't. But yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna hold out until I'm 16. When I turned 16, it was when I turned 18. At that point, yeah, I decided I wanted to be rebellious. I didn't care. And I ended up losing my virginity to him at 16 years old. Am I wiping off my makeup? Do I even have on makeup anymore? A little bit of highlight, a little bit of something. So yeah, at that point I didn't give a fuck because I just felt like, okay, I'm never gonna have a boyfriend. Why would I wait till I'm 18? Like, why do I need my parents to tell me I can't have a boyfriend when I'm 18? When I'm 18, I'm an adult. I don't need your permission at that point. And I felt like, and there's a lot of time in between this time, right? So life is chaotic, and I'm being judged constantly between the ages of hitting puberty 13 to this time at 16. That's like 3 years, right? I said, is that 3 years? Yeah, I'm already knowing, like, y'all are never gonna let me have a boyfriend. But I'm being judged constantly because they're constantly telling me that my body is too T. No, but my body is too fucking T to have. I can't wear this, I can't wear that. And mind you, all my siblings are skinny at this time. All my siblings are skinny, including myself. But they would make me feel like my body was somehow thicker than everybody else's. I was probably bigger than them by like 10 pounds. I was probably bigger than them like by 10 maybe 20. Maybe 20. I'll give it 20, right? But we're talking about full portions. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm 20 pounds bigger than them in titties. I'm 20 pounds bigger than them in ass. This is like a full... And I don't think they realize that the way that they would say it, it made me feel fat. I felt fat. I felt weird about my body. Because it didn't feel like I have a sexy body. Because out there in the real world, bitch, you skinny as fuck. Like, I'm being dog. Boy body, I'm skinny as hell. I ain't got no titties. I ain't got no ass. Wasn't nobody looking at me like, damn, Nikki, you got a fat ass. No. So if my family's over here like, you shouldn't wear that shirt, your titties is too big. And we're having like family get-togethers and people are actually fucking talking about my tits. They're like, oh, she got the biggest... My titties wasn't that big when I was young. I didn't have titties like that when I was her age. Like, yo. And they saying this in front of male cousins. That was so fucking embarrassing. But then to be out there in the real world and I'm not necessarily getting attention. I'm getting attention from boys, but I got more of the, we like you, but we like her more. Like, that's kind of pretty much been the story of my life, honestly, not even just as a kid. Like, damn, like, fucks with you. Like, I'm the girl that men fall in love with, but unless they're emotionally intelligent, they want the bitch that they want to fuck, right? I wasn't the chick men wanted to fuck. I was the chick that men would I'll one day marry her. Like, hey, Mickey will be there to marry one day, but right now I'm about to clap the cheeks on this big booty. I wasn't the big booty. So you go home and they're like, cover up, you whore, right? So it was like, I was so confused about, I hated everything about life. Anyways, because then, like, I have this boyfriend who I'm feeling like likes me for me, and then it turns out he liked my cousin more because she had a fatter ass. So it was like, yeah, life was fucking depressing. And I lost my virginity to that boy. Right? So I got caught the day I lost my virginity. And yeah, it was hell. in a way, when I lost my virginity, they were like, basically, they don't want to see me, right? They don't want to see me like, I'm just a hoe type shit. And I was at my grandmother's house. I was actually happy. Like, I can genuinely say I was happy that I did not have to go home. In my mind, I'm like, fuck, save. I'm not gonna get my ass whooped. And I didn't think I was gonna get my ass whooped. I felt like I'm finna get abused. So I felt like it was a save. I basically felt like they were just like, we don't want her no more. And I was okay with that. So here I am, and I'm dead ass. I was happy. Because that meant life was going to be different for me, right? I spent a lot of times running away to my grandmother's house. Not running away literally, too scared. But basically like asking, like, hey, can I spend some time with grandma? And I was surprised they ever even let me. But to be quite honest, I think they let me because they never liked me. They never liked me around. I have this kind of energy. I don't know if other people have this energy. I have what I call a karmic energy. And my karmic energy brings either the best out of people or the worst. And if you're around a lot of fucked up people, they're not going to like you because they feel your energy. And your energy is bringing, as I like to say, the wolf out of the sheep. And so you bring the worst out of people. And you kind of... My energy exposes people for who they actually are, is the best way I can say it. That's the best way I can say it. My energy exposes people for who they are. And it's not like I'm doing it on purpose. It's not like I'm just like, yeah, show me who you is, nigga. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just existing in my own energy. And usually when I'm existing in my energy fully, like feeling the magic of my energy fully, I bring the worst or the best out of people. And so I honestly think I aggravated them being around them. And I don't know if they understood that that's what was happening. Hell, I didn't, of course. I didn't realize that until I, went on my spiritual journey, that that's what it is. For the longest time, I just thought, if I'm around all these fucked up ass people, yeah, I'm just thinking that people don't like me. And then when I meet those people who love me, like, they're like, damn, like, I'm besties for the resties. All these people do whatever the fuck they can to ruin that. Even if that means taking my ass out of high school and keeping me from my friends. People keep texting me. Yeah, so, yeah. So, I felt like, yeah, they didn't want me around, so I would run away to my grandmother's house, and sometimes that got me trips. And they didn't, I don't know if they fully knew that I was having a good fucking time. And I think once they realized that I was having a good time, they put it into me going to her house. So when they were like, yeah, we don't want you around, and basically they was cussing my ass out and stay your ass over there because if I see you, I'm gonna beat your ass. I was happy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get to live with my grandma. Oh my gosh, I'm about to take trips here, there. I was like, I'm up. It's a win. A win is a win. Man, I've been so many places because of her. I would have never traveled the way that I've traveled if it wasn't for her. I am cultured. Honestly, because of her. Yeah, we didn't used to get to do shit. Or when we got to do things, or when there was a plan to do things, there was such fucking chaos before we got to go that, damn, it's like, do we really want to go anymore? Motherfuckers could be planning to go to the park and he will start an entire fight. It's a World War III. You got to bring me this. You got to bring me the earth and the moon, bitch, before I let you go down the street in the park with these fucking ass kids. Y'all talking about having fun without me, bitch? Yeah, it was rough. But, with her, I'm going to fucking New Orleans. I'm going to Canada. I'm going to Texas. I'm going to fucking... I didn't go to Tennessee. I'm going out of town. I'm actually leaving the state. And we get to pack, and it's cute, and there's church music, and you know what I mean? Like, good food's being cooked. Like, damn, I'm trying to live like this. I'm trying to live one of these. So I was happy. Crisis averted. But apparently they went through my social media, MySpace at the time, and found out that I had been in a relationship with him for 2 years. Whoops. So they wanted some vengeance. And then they basically called and was like, yeah, we coming over right now. I'm gonna beat your ass. They rallied up the fucking other creep ass troops. Fucking other weirdos. Other family members that did things to other kids. And basically rallied up and there's a grown men all coming to my grandmother's house to beat my ass. Dead ass. Or at least watch me get my ass beat. What the fuck they needed all these grown ass? Well, I think they called themselves about to like go beat up my ex-boyfriend. Which is still weird because he was he was only 17. Like, y'all about to beat a 17-year-old? Like, he ain't got peoples? But who cares? Like, we're not thugs here. Like, they acting like, there's some fucking Romeo and Juliet type shit. He was a kid. He was a kid in high school. Like, they were basically making it seem like he was far older than me and he was on some grape type stuff. And I'm like, he's a year older than me. We're in the same grade. But yeah, anyways, I got my ass beat. I tried to commit unaliving before they got there. But my cousin found me. She stopped me. I kind of got a little far, but she stopped me. And even though one of the weirdos seen it, like, I'm not going to say that they didn't seem sad by the whole situation or think that my father was taking it too far. I definitely got that energy, but at the same time, they're all weirdos, so they're going to stick by the weirdo. So yeah. I got my ass whooped in front of everybody. By ass whooped, I mean body slammed, dragged. I, to this day, have a fucking crack in my tailbone that feels like I have a tail. It feels like I have like a tail bump back there because I was body slammed so hard. I was body slammed so fucking hard that it cracked the ice, cracked my tailbone, and I peed on myself. Don't judge me. It was fucking terrible. But anyways, due to that situation, they took me out of school. Then we ended up moving way across the fucking country. And I'm sure they don't think that they're going to say that they didn't move across the country because of that situation. But nothing else was happening. You know what I mean? Nothing. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We moved across the country. Well, no, they berated me, actually, first by calling me a whore. Asking me if I liked said situation, losing my virginity, and I better have, because that's what the fuck I get. Even though I'm pretty sure we know, as women, losing our virginities is not exactly... Anyways, I was berated for a while, but because of that situation, that is when I earned the name, the whore of the family, or the title, the whore of the family, because I lost my virginity to my 2-year long relationship and my first love. Whoa! But anyways, they were saying like they don't think that was my first time. They don't think that was my first person, and I was probably been doing that, and I was a hoe, and yeah. So yeah, that became my life for a couple of years, is being berated. And anytime I would even fucking not tie my shoe right, I was a hoe. So yeah, that turned into me being accused of being in love with male cousins because, that turned into me being the hoe who liked my male cousins. That turned into me being a hoe who wanted other people's mans, my uncles. That turned into a hoe because of the way I dressed, even though I wasn't buying my own clothes. So when my mother would buy me pajamas that were shorts or like any type of skinny straps, I was a hoe who was trying to get somebody's man. That turned into a lot of abusive situations, and I attempted to commit 3 more times after the first time. One time, and I was pulled out of school. Another time, that's when he handed me the knife and said, do it. And the other time no one knows about, but I just stopped myself. Well, I didn't stop anything. Let's be honest, I wasn't really attempting. I was just I don't know the best way to say that. I was hurting myself, but I wasn't actually attempting to. And that's when those scars were seen, and I was told to kill myself in front of my parents. I was told by my parents to kill myself in front of my parents. Yeah. So then we'll fast forward to me being 17. That's fucking crazy. That was all in a year. So fast forward to me being 17. Or actually, no, I was 17, but I was about to turn 18. It was in the year of me about to turn 18, but I was not 18 yet. And I was cleaning downstairs. I was homeschooled. Everybody else was not. I was the only person at home. So my job at home was basically to do my online schoolwork and pretty much be a maid to my father. And pick up my siblings from school and take my siblings to school. So yeah, do my online schoolwork, be a fucking maid, clean up, serve my father lunch, breakfast, whatever, and then pick up my siblings and cook for them and then clean some more. And that got really heavy on me. Like, it really did. I had absolutely no life. I had absolutely no friends. I think I got to go on one field trip to like an aquarium. But yeah, I had no social media. I didn't really get to do shit. Actually, it's a lie. I did have social media. I had Facebook. But they had the password to my Facebook. Because I kept, throughout that year, I kept finding ways to talk to my first love again. I didn't understand why they would look at it as a horror situation. I was in love with that boy. Man, I was in love. I was in love bad. Woo! I was in love bad. I thought we was going to get married. We was supposed to have kids. That was my baby. Yeah, I had it bad. But I didn't see why people didn't see it as a normal teenager who was in love. I didn't get why they saw me as this hoe who just was trying to fuck everybody. So anyways, yeah. Fast forward to me being 17. I was bored with life. I hated my life. I was so fucking bored with life. I am such a adventurer that just that same routine of cooking the same food and picking up the key. I felt like a housewife who didn't have a husband. I felt like a maid who didn't get paid. The fuck? I felt like a slave. I mean, I suppose I fucking was. But yeah, so that is when the story time where I had ended up meeting my second boyfriend. Who he wasn't my boyfriend. We didn't get that far, but he ended up turning into a stalker. So yeah. And then that's when my father asked me about if I had somebody, and I was like, oh, I might as well just admit this because he probably knows. And yeah. So due to that situation, between that story time and the story time I tell about me going back home, back to my hometown, and ending up with Landon, that was my first love. This because, him. Which is crazy to think that I went back, not for him, but ending up with him just for him to treat me like shit too. Hence the fucking long plethora of guys who ended up treating me like shit. Because my fucking daddy issues. But yeah, so in between that story time and that story time, this is why I went to Buffalo. So what did I name him? Did I name him T? Whatever I named the stalker boy. When I got caught up in that situation, my father acted as if, yeah, you need to pick better boys and blah, blah, blah. He was trying to act like he was cool, like, right? But the mask slipped when he got drunk one night. Oh, wait, no. So before he found that out, this situation, I was cleaning up at night. And he was drunk. And he came downstairs as I was cleaning up. And he started to tell me about my parents' sexual problems. How they were having problems with sex because my mother was pregnant. And he wasn't, basically that their relationship was on the rocks. And I remember I was just like standing there as he was talking about this, as if it was normal to tell his 17-year-old daughter that he's having sexual issues with my mother. Or that he was sexually frustrated with my mother. And I remember I was just standing there for a long time. Like, I didn't really move. I was kind of like just holding this broom tight as fuck. Probably white knuckled. If I was white, my damn knuckles would have been red as hell. Or white. Is that what they call it? Anyways. And I remember being so hot. Like, just overly hot and itchy and sweaty. And nervous and scared, right? But he's having this conversation with me, but he's kind of saying things like, you know what I mean? Type shit. And I'm just like, I have this ability to, when people, because people tell me things. People do this all the time. They just tell me things. They just tell me about their problems. Which now I've learned how to have that kind of energetic boundaries. Like, okay, if this conversation's getting too weird, you know, there's a man telling something, yeah, because my wife, I just wish she would suck my dick more type shit. I have that ability to have, okay, I don't want to hear that. But, you know, I was a kid. I didn't understand why he was telling me this. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And this is my biological father. I don't know why you're telling me this shit. So I was fucking terrified because I'm like, I don't know where this is going. But my body knew this isn't going anywhere good because no father talks to their daughter about shit like this. And never has he before. So I didn't understand. So I was terrified. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, but I have this ability to get myself out of things by pretending like I'm not as scared as I am. And I'm not pretending because in that moment, it's real. In that moment, it is real that I am somehow channeling and understanding. I do understand, but it isn't until afterwards that it all hits me. And then I'm either terrified or mad or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense if that happens to other people. But in that moment, I'm just like, yeah, not absolutely understand. And I'm being dead ass because in some way I know this is going to help me. Even if I'm not like, I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, I'm just like, but I don't fucking understand. You know what I mean? The fuck, I ain't never had no kid. What the fuck you talking about? But yeah, but I remember noticing that my body was so tense. Because I was so confused. I didn't know why this was happening. And yeah, so he's just telling me all this shit. And then, I mean, this is probably 10 o'clock at night. By the time I went to bed, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Of me just standing there, listening to him rant about their relationship. And so eventually, he goes to bed. And I remember I'm walking away. And he's like, yeah, good night, Mickey. You know, thank you for listening. And I go to bed, and I just fucking bawled my eyes out, crying. Yeah. I bawled my eyes out crying. I was so confused and shit like that, right? So for a while, I think I was just like in this weird frozen state of like confusion. I didn't get it. I didn't know what was happening. But it didn't happen again, if that makes sense. So I was confused. Yeah. So months later, I turned 18. No, the situation with the stalker happened, and then he got mad, and then that's when he randomly was like, you know, hey, come upstairs. And then him and my mother started talking shit about me. Or she wasn't talking shit, but he was talking shit. And she was just allowing it to basically be like, you know, ho, what you doing? And so after that, mind you, I'm still 17. So after that, and I don't even know why I'm saying that, but I know why I'm saying it, but trust me, it doesn't fucking matter. So after that situation, maybe like a few days later, he basically comes downstairs, and my other siblings' rooms were in the garage. So there was like a garage, but they had these like two like office type rooms. But you know, like we're older, we're teenagers, and she at the time was 18. She's in college. She's got a job. So basically it's like, hey, here's the luxury of having your own space. But she got to have a lock on her door. I could not. So it didn't really feel like I got to have my own space. It basically felt like, well, Because she wanted the room in there. I did not. But it was that time where me and my other sister needed to, I guess, have that space because there was another baby coming, right? So I kind of had to have the room. But I didn't get to design it or decorate it, or I didn't feel like I didn't feel welcome. Shit, I didn't feel welcome there. I felt like I was just shoved in some fucking basement type shit. Because my room looked nothing like my sister's room. And even when I tried, I only had but so much room, because it's basically like, yeah, just get something cheap. Nobody tried to help me. Nobody tried to help me see my vision. Yeah, so one day he comes downstairs and he knocks on my room door. And me and my sister were supposed to clean that garage that's outside of our rooms. But he only knocks on my door to ask me why the garage was not clean. And I tell him, mind you, I didn't get to be lazy. So I know for sure my excuse was something of like, I'm cleaning it by myself. And I don't feel like she's cleaning it. And so I'm just waiting on her. And his excuse was, not excuse, because I'm not saying it's not a good one. But at the same time, I cleaned the entire fucking house, except everyone's individual rooms. So to me, it's like, damn, do I really have to have one more extra fucking job? And so he's like, no, she got a job and, she goes to school. She shouldn't have to clean up. So it's on you. But I'm like, but y'all told us to clean it. So why all of a sudden is it just on me? Mind you, it's not like I'm sitting around here doing nothing. But basically, that's how he's talking to me. It's like, oh, you lazy bitch. You don't do nothing. You ain't got no job in this motherfucker. Get your ass up and clean up. It's like 11, 12 o'clock at night. So I'm like, can I at least do it in the morning? Because I didn't talk back. So it's not like I'm about to be like, nah, because can I at least do it in the morning? I'm tired. Because I clean all day. I cook all day. Be in the hot ass sun by my motherfucking self, walking. And I'm in Vegas, so we talking 115 degrees to go get the kids and take them back. Like, damn, shit, you ain't got a job, you do it. The fuck? But couldn't say that. So I'm just like, hey, can I at least do it in the morning? He's like, yeah, whatever, fuck. And he leaves. Then he comes back. And when he comes back again, I'm like, I just know something's about to happen, because why would you double back? So he's like, what are you going to do with your life? You need to be doing something with your life to be living in our house. You don't got no job. You ain't in school. But I'm like, I'm in high school. Of course I don't have a job. Of course I'm not in college. I'm in high school. I have to wait. He's like, nah, fuck that. What you going to do with your life? You need to do something with your life. You got to get the fuck out of our house. But I don't have an answer. So I'm just like, I don't know. And he hates when people say they don't know. But I didn't know. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do, because I didn't finish high school. I got to graduate first, bro. So I'm like trying to come up with these answers. So I'm just like, yeah, I want to go to NYU. And I did want to go to NYU. And I did want to go to, what's the college in Cali? Berkeley. I did want to go to Berkeley, and I did want to go to NYU. I actually plan on applying, but I'm just saying it in a way like trying to sound like, hey, I've got important things in my future, because it's not like I didn't plan on it, but at the same time, I gotta finish high school. So I'm just like, yeah, I got these big dreams, right? But he's looking at me in this kind of like, you dumbass bitch, you ain't finna do none of that dumbass. Like, yeah. So, he leaves, comes back again. And he's like, well, how the fuck you gonna do that when your grades suck and you didn't even pass the 10th, because they pulled me out of school, but you didn't even pass the 10th grade with enough credits and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, I'll join the military. So I'm like, I'll join the military. I'm going to the Navy. I was grasping at whatever. Because the thing is, it's not like it wasn't true. Like, it's not like it wasn't things that I really wanted to do. But honestly, I probably sound so desperate because I didn't know where the fuck this was going. I was like, what do you want me to say? Like, you're telling me you're gonna kick me out unless I have a plan? So I'm just like, okay, well, the plan is the Navy, and or if the Navy doesn't take me, I'll go to the Army, or no, Marines. And then what's funny is I did actually apply. I took my ASVABs and I did apply to NYU, and no, I did not have enough credits and shit like that. Yeah, because they took me out of school. Yeah. So I'm just like just shooting things out there, and it sounds good. So he's leaving. This time when he comes back, he's like, nah, that's not enough. You need to do something now. And I'm just like, what the fuck could I do now? Right? And mind you, I'm about to graduate in like a week type shit. Like, bro, chill. Slow down. Give me a minute. It was like literally a week. I want to say it was like a week, because my birthday would be the next month and I would turn 18. And that's when I would be starting, or that's when I would get a job or start applying to my first jobs type shit. So, but he was drunk, so I don't know. Time was getting away from him. So I don't think it fucking matters. But yeah, so he's like, now you need to do something now. And I'm like, I don't know what I could do now. Like you want me to clean the garage now? I can start cleaning the garage now. Basically, yeah, I got to a point where I felt like I was begging for whatever I knew was about to happen to not happen. But I just didn't know, like, you know what I mean? I've never been through something like that. So I didn't know, like, I just knew something bad was about to happen. I didn't know where it was going to go, though. I'm thinking I'm desperately begging to not get kicked out. I'm going to say that. I felt like I was begging to not be kicked out. But my begging wasn't like, please. It was just more like, yeah, I'll do this, and I got this plan, and yeah, I'm putting together a plan right now. Shit. Yeah, my energy was for sure begging. Like, don't kick me out. Like, I got plans. I got big plans. He's like, nah, you need to do something now, basically. Not basically, he said that. And then he asked me to step out the room and go back in that front area that we were at. It's like doesn't matter. This front area we were at when he initially told me that him and my mother were having sexual problems. And that turned into a lot of degrading me and asking me, you know, why do I got all these boyfriends? Why am I effing all these men when it's unsafe and you can catch diseases and you can end up with kids? And that turned into, well, if you're going to be doing it with all these men, you should be with somebody safe. You should be with somebody who's at least going to make sure you're okay and somebody who's going to take care of you. And then that person turned out to be him. And when he started to say that, like, my fucking stomach went to my ass. Because I don't think I ever imagined that he would say something like that to me. I mean, to his children, I suppose. And that brought me back to that picture in his phone. Those pictures in his phone. When you're a kid and you see that, you don't fully understand that. You're just like, why is that person in a compromising position in my father's phone? And in a lot of ways, I feel like when I saw that as a kid, the feeling I felt wasn't as simple as like, oh, he's doing something with them. It was more of like a jealousy. It felt more like you're cheating on my mother feeling. Like, how could you do this to my mother? I don't think I fully comprehended it as this little girl my age. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe you don't. Maybe people wouldn't know what I mean. I didn't know what the fuck I meant. But at that point, you know, I'm older. So when I look back at it, it like had this flush of, this nigga like kids? And he brought up, when I was younger, I was a daddy's girl. So he brought that up, like, oh, remember you used to, you know, wear your hair like mine and try to wear afros like mine, and, you know, like, because I was very much a tomboy. So I wasn't looking at it like, You know what I mean? Like, I'm daddy's princess, because I was not. The fuck? I was wearing raggedy ass clothes. I thought I was a little boy. Yeah, and he started to bring that up, or bring up the fact that I would always hug him, or that I would, kiss him. Not like that, but, like when you kiss your kids. Or bring up the fact that we had a multitude of pictures where I would be behind my father and I would like wrap my hands around his neck. Sounds not like that, but just like cute kids, like hugging their parent from behind them. And I just started fucking crying, because how could you see all these like moments with your child who obviously loved the fuck out of you as if I was like flirting with my own father? And it hit me like, this man thought I was flirting with him. This man thought a 7-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 4-year-old was flirting with him. Yeah. So that turned into, which I'm not going to get into mad detail about, but basically him asking me to expose myself to him. And when he asked for a certain part to be exposed, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I exposed the upper half of my body. I said, I'm not going to get into it, and I said it. So I exposed the upper half of my body. When he basically thought he got me. Like, he saw that as weak, that I would ever expose anything at all. So he started to berate me. Like, oh, look at you. You're easy, because why would you, just because I asked you to expose that doesn't mean you should. So, of course, I'm confused. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, you're basically telling me you're going to fucking beat me and you're going to kick me out and I'm going to be homeless. And he's like, no, you got a choice. You have a choice. You didn't have to do that. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you telling me? I'm a kid. So, I think teenagers are kids. So I'm going to just say that. I'm a kid, so I'm not looking at it like I'd rather be homeless than to... You know what I mean? Like, now, sure, yeah, fuck, kick me out, nigga, I don't fuck. But I don't know how to get a job. I've never paid a bill before in my life. I don't know, where do I move to? Like, who do I call? What do I do? So, but he just kept saying that. So basically, if you're going to expose this part of your body, you might as well expose all of it. And I'm just like, nah, I can't do that. So then he starts to get up and to be like forceful, but he's being forceful, but at the same time, he's pretending like he's helping me. So basically he's saying like, oh, because you expose the upper part of your body, you're easy. And men see you as easy, and they'll smell that easy on you. And they're going to try to take advantage of you. So he tried to turn this into some like, I'm going to show you how to protect yourself and grow some balls. Because why would you expose yourself? No matter how much you or how afraid you are, you're not supposed to expose yourself. Anyways, because so basically he tried to make it seem like he was showing me how to do some fucking kung fu. I don't know. But as he's doing this, he's groping me, right? He's groping me, or he's pretending as if he is the person who is going to try to sexually assault me by sexually assaulting me with my clothes on. But it got to the point where when I realized that he's just putting his body on me, pretending like he's helping me just so he can put his body on me. That's when I started to fight back. And when I started to fight back, that pissed him off. Because, bitch, I just said you was weak. Why are you acting strong now? And in my mind, I'm like, shit, I don't know what it's like to be homeless, but I'm about to figure it the fuck out. It's just kind of like, oh, I guess that's what you meant, huh? Well, I'm making the choice. I'm finna whoop your ass. It's just not funny. But yeah, that's how I felt. You say I got a choice? Well, here's my choice. I'm finna whoop your ass. Basically, I tried to knee him in the nuts. And I told him I'm about to go tell my mother. So when he's like, oh, tell her. He backed off of me. He's like, oh, tell her then. Basically trying to intimidate me. She's not going to believe you because you're a whore. So I start to walk towards the stairs, but then he starts to push me towards the stairs. So I'm turning around and I'm like, I'm already moving. Don't fucking touch me. I ain't say fucking. I was like, I'm already going upstairs. You ain't got to push me. Man, my balls came in quick. And that pissed him off. So he pushes me again. And I felt myself, like, basically I'm about to turn around and try to whoop this nigga's ass. Fuck it. Because either way, someone's going to know, right? That's how I viewed it. If I have to, I'll start screaming loud as hell. I'll wake the whole house up. Somebody's going to know. So when he sees me, like, I'm about to turn around and act a fool in this bitch, then he's like, no, go tell her, right? So I'm like, I'm feeling the heat. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said the first time I felt my anger issues come in. Like, oh yeah, you right. I got a choice. I'm finna fuck your whole life up. Cause you know who else ain't got a job? You, nigga. Yeah, we both finna be homeless. We both finna be homeless up in this bitch. I said, fuck it. I'm taking the low road. But when he does that, something told me don't do it. Because if he gets desperate enough, I might not make it out this motherfucker. So I start to go upstairs. And when we go upstairs, my mother, like, he wakes her up. And she's waking up and she's pregnant. And all I kept thinking was, this is gonna ruin everything. This is gonna ruin. I just don't see her taking this normally, because she's gone through so much with him that I just didn't see her. She's the breadwinner, but I just didn't see her acting in the energy of, get the fuck out my house, nigga, and knowing you're gonna be fine. Like, if he goes away, you'll be fine, because you're already the one who pays all the bills. I already take care of the fucking house and the kids. My older sister is already damn near a full-grown adult. You know what I mean? She's already out there. So basically, yeah. When that inappropriate stuff happened, I was basically like, yeah, I'm gonna tell my mom. I went upstairs, yeah, and so I didn't actually tell her anything. Yeah, I didn't tell her anything. That's what happened. Yeah. I didn't say anything, but I kind of like, yeah. So, that's when I ended up, the next day I was doing my schoolwork, but I could not stop fucking crying. I was crying and crying and crying and crying and crying like crazy. And he had the audacity to ask me why was I crying. Basically with this kind of smirk. And, I just basically said I started my period. I didn't say anything because I didn't know if he was like drunk and he didn't remember everything that happened. But I couldn't stop. And that song, Cher, do you believe in life after love? That song used to make me cry so much because of that situation. Once I heard it, I ended up crying like crazy. And then when that movie came out with the girl, the cabin at the end of the woods or something like that, and she ended up going through a very fucked up situation. I can't believe I saw that movie. But there was a grape scene. And then the parents like basically went crazy and was mutilating people. And the song by Swinging by Trees? Taken by Trees. Sweet Child of Mine. But the remake of Oh, 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 Sweet Child of Mine. Yeah, I felt like I would never have parents like that. Instead of me having parents that would protect me from the rapist, they'll be the rapist. And so every time I hear that song still makes me cry because, yeah. I feel like I'll never have parents who feel that way about me. But at least I'm a good parent, so. I'm the parent that I needed growing up. Thank God. Yeah. So it was a very, 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 very rough couple of months. Or very rough month. Because he wouldn't antagonize me still. Like, he had mentioned that he liked the way I did my makeup. So I would still, like, I used to do my eyeshadow. And he would make it seem like, basically, like, he didn't remember type shit. But then he's sober and he's like, I like your makeup. And then he smirks type shit. Why am I saying type shit so fucking much? But he would like smirk at me when I do my makeup. And it would make me like, damn, am I crazy? Like, am I crazy to think that he meant the weird shit that he did? Because to him, he was just helping me. He was just, I was just trying to get you some balls. Like, you got to stop being easy. You got to stop being a hoe out here. Like, so he had me thinking like, damn, am I just this easy hoe because I'm afraid of being homeless? So yeah, I turned 18 when I turned 18, which is, like I said, this was, not even a month later. When I graduated, or when I passed, I ended up getting a job quick. I ended up starting college quick. It was one of those feelings where I felt like, you didn't have to do this. This was so unnecessary. Like, he was making it seem like I was never going to amount to anything. But it's like, you didn't even have to do all this shit because I ended up easily getting a job. Mind you, it's the same. I worked at the same place as my older sister. So it wasn't like, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. The shit was wrong and it's disgusting. He was talking about Bible passages, the story of where the daughter did the thing to the man so that I think his lineage would go on. And, so God, and mind you, these are people who called me evil my entire life. But you're bringing up a Bible passage as a reason to tell me that it's okay to have incest. Yeah. So then I ended up turning 18. And basically, I was on my shit. Like, to me, I didn't give a fuck about them anymore. Like, y'all ain't shit to me. So I would go to school, and my school was far the fuck away, and I was taking dance. I had like 3 different dance classes. So it's like I was physically overwhelmed and tired. My job required me to walk around and get signatures and I was a receptionist, but I had to walk around, and I would wear heels, so I kind of made it hard on myself too. Basically, I was physically exhausted. But I was loving it. Because I'm like, I'm wearing heels to work. I'm clanking my heels through the streets. I felt good about myself. I was tired, but I felt good about myself. Because to me, it was like, oh, you said I wasn't never going to be shit. And here I am looking like a baddie in my little pencil skirts. And I'm in my ballet class, twirly whirly. I felt good as hell. And yeah, so that rubbed people the wrong way. So then they had to make an excuse of why they needed to cuss me out. And that's where the other story time begins, where I was out shopping and shit because I was feeling good about myself. I was buying some new heels. And I was on the phone with my ex, Landon. And my minutes cut off. But mind you, I'm 18 now. I got this whole job. I didn't understand. But as you can see, yeah. Somebody was trying to steal my light. So by any means necessary. And that turned into me getting cussed out, and then I got cussed out for lying and saying that it wasn't Landon, it was somebody else, and them finding out that it was Landon, and you being in my house and you're still whoring with the same guy. This reminds me of niggas who get mad that you don't give them your number, so they say you're a whore. If I am a hoe, it's not for you. But yeah, so yeah. And that turned into him saying that I needed, as I'm getting cussed out because the outfit I was wearing to work, stockings. I was wearing stockings with a little white dress, but to them it was a t-shirt, and I'm wearing stockings. My ass is out, mind you. Excuse me. These weren't stockings. This is just what we used to call them back then because we didn't know that they were called leggings. He was mad that I was wearing leggings because he felt that they were too sheer. I don't know. I don't care. And him saying that I needed to put on a bathing suit and talk to him in the jacuzzi so we could discuss my punishment. Now, mind you, this is all the stuff I don't give a fuck if none of the stuff before that happened. I would never tell my child to put on a bathing suit so we could discuss why they were half naked. Excuse me? I guess I ain't the only one who didn't graduate. Because how the fuck does that make any goddamn sense? Go get more naked so we can discuss why you was half naked. Even though I can't see none of your skin, but because it's skin tight, get naked so we can talk about this. What kind of weirdo shit is that? And I said, hell nah, I'm not doing that. This sounds stupid. And after the fucking shit I just went through, being dragged for being a whore, now I'm a whore because I don't want to be a whore. Nah, I ain't putting on that bathing suit. And then that's when I got kicked out. And I said, yeah, this time I'm going. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. And I left. Now, mind you, when I left, there were certain siblings who told everyone, as my father decided to cry and lie and say that this did not take place, that they were awake when that situation, because when I left, I exposed what that happened that night and also the things that I had gone through before when I was 17. I exposed everything. I told every fucking thing. I told every motherfucking body. But certain siblings told people that they were awake that night when I was 17, when I exposed myself to him because he told me to. I want to say he forced me to, but I guess in some ways I'm still I guess I'm still affected by that, by not just full-blown saying that he was a fucking creep. And feeling like somehow it was my fault because I chose to expose one part of my body instead of the other. I felt that other part of my body was sacred. I'm not doing that, so I don't know. Not to say that my titties aren't, but I don't know. So yeah, they were there, and yeah, and so he showed that older sister what he did, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he was just showing me how to fight." I said, "Naked?" I wasn't naked when he did it, but I mean, like, stop fucking lying, bro. No, he did not do the same fucking thing. Like, but, you know, they had to save his ass. So basically, people were awake and that didn't take place and all that shit. Although nobody was awake. And showing somebody how to put their arm behind their back and switch it is not the fucking same as trying to fucking... Anyways, yeah. And I didn't give a fuck because I was already across the country. So I said, I don't give a fuck. And yeah, that's when they basically tried to ruin my life. They stole my credit. Yeah, my credit was fucked for years because of them. I mean, damn near the moment I left. Actually, it's a lie. They actually started stealing my credit when I lost my virginity. And to this day, well, I don't know about to this day because I don't talk to them anymore. But the last time I brought up, like, hey, your number and your birthday and your addresses are tied to my credit. Do you know why? Oh, what? No, we don't know. Whole time I reported them to the IRS. Yeah, I know, and they know, and you know. Which is funny because it seems like they're being investigated, but they keep making it seem like they're not being investigated and that it's scammers. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure if they know, like, I ratted y'all asses out. You ain't gonna fucking steal my goddamn credit and think you finna get away with it. The fuck? You ain't about to do shit to me and think you finna get away with it. My eyes are always watching. Nah, I'm not necessarily vengeful, but when you start to play on my top, like I can't get your ass back because you think I'm that nice, which I am. I'm a very giving person, but you only gonna do but so much to me. Because what you're not finna do is ruin my life, right? I fucking... High school was ruined for me. College was ruined for me. Yeah, I ain't go to fucking NYU in Berkeley, nigga. I was too busy worried about getting grades. Then to fast forward and play me and abuse me. Because mind you, This situation had gotten brought up again years later after I came back from New York after the whole domestic violence situation. When I came back, I ended up moving back in with them because, my grandparents and them, and yeah. And, apology and this and that. And my father's sister, an aunt, when this all happened and I was going on the airport to go to New York, she asked me to stay with her so I don't leave. But something in me was like, nah, you're just gonna send me right back to them, right? Fast forward when I come back from New York, this situation gets brought up again because that said father was trying to humble another sister, a younger one, by telling her that her getting kicked out and being out in that real world is gonna fucking suck. So you better straighten up, bitch. Or we gonna kick you out like we kicked out your sister. Hey, sister, me. Come here, tell her how bad it was. Mind you, this is all stem behind this whole thing. So it's like, what you're not finna do is parade me around like again. I'm not going through that again. You're not about to berate me like, you know what I mean? You're not about to just be saying anything about me. So I told her, I was like, it wasn't that bad. And he's like, what? The fuck you mean it wasn't that bad? I'm like, it's not that bad. You'll be all right. Of course, I wasn't expecting that. Because before, obviously, I didn't have any balls. So when I come back with all these balls, some story times I have not told about me being in New York. I have gone through some crazy ass shit. So yes, the more crazy shit I go through, the more arrogant I fucking get. Because what you're not finna do is act like I can't get through shit. I can get through whatever the fuck. Man, telling you, I've been through some shit. And what's crazy to me is, I guess some people go through things and it ruins them. And it haunts them. And it is hard to get over. So I'm not trying to be insensitive. That does happen. But I chose a different path. I chose that every time I go through something, I'm going to become stronger afterwards. Does it fucking suck? And sometimes I don't think I'm going to get through it? Yeah. But when I do, I'm going to come back more arrogant. I'm going to come back more arrogant. I'm going to come back more. Oh my God. I want you to be mad. When I come back, nigga, I want you to be mad. I want you to be like, fuck. I want you to know that I have alchemized the fuck out of this situation. And now you got to see me glow up. Now you got to see my ass. 10 times better every fucking time. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep doing this shit. I'm finna have, at this point, the way people be treating me, I'm finna have like 10 glow ups a year. Fuck it. I'm finna, rich again. Ooh, more money. Ass is fatter. Titties is, well, I like my little titties. You know what's funny about having small titties now? Is there'd be certain people, because they can't do this shit anymore, but certain people who would look at me and be like, you got some cute little, got a little kitty, itty bitty titty committee. Not knowing I used to have double fucking D's. I say this every day. I prayed for these titties. Oh my God. My titties used to be so fucking big. I'm so glad that I have small tits now, though. I just feel like I've grown up my whole life either being judged by my boobs or having large boobs or being overly sexualized by my large boobs. I don't know if I would ever want big boobs ever again in my life. I like small titties. I like that pear shape when it's small and then it's like even smaller and then wow, fast. I don't know how I got on that. Anyways, glow ups. Anyways, yeah. So I don't think they realized that I was gonna have big balls when I came back. So that's when I said like, yeah, you be alright. You be fine out there. It ain't nothing to a G like me. And I got my ass punched in the face. And guess who I called? That aunt. Guess what she did? Dropped me right the fuck back off. I wish those people well. I hope and pray that those people have the lives that they deserve. Yeah, all of them. Bless them. Bless you. Yeah, so that is my story. I will have gone through a lot more worse, terrible things after that. I will have gotten sexually assaulted. I will have gotten SA'd. 3 times after that in worse situations. I've gotten in some very terrible relationships that I kept going back to, sometimes in the fear that I will need those said parents, and I did not want to need them. My son's father knew that. He called himself bragging to his family that I was using him basically to get away from them, and that he basically saved me, which is why I think he thought he was gonna prostitute me, because he thought I was running away from them type shit. And I'm like, nigga, when I met you, nigga, I was about to get my own apartment. So actually, you ruined my life. You didn't make it better, you dumbass. I can't stand when people think they're slick. Listen, I get that people go through traumas and then that people will play on those traumas, but I'm not the fucking one. I'm not the fucking one. Because if I know what's real and you keep trying to play me, I'm going to say it, and then you're going to want to punch me in my face, which they do. But which is funny about it, it's not funny. But what's funny about it is to have those same people be like, what? Not you having balls. Just to want to like try to make, things worse. And then have the nerve to think I'm going to stay. See, once you start putting your hands on me, why the fuck would I even stay? Why would I be here? Which I know it happens to people. I do. But I'm not people. In the words of my fellow friend earlier today, I'm not fucking human. He said, I know humans be going through shit, but you're not human. I don't think I am. Sometimes I'm just wondering if I'm just going to wake up and look in the mirror and be like, oh shit, and I won't even look like this. Hell, I didn't look like this a month ago. It's like something keep changing every day. And yeah, ain't nothing wrong being human, but I don't think that's me. You put your hands on me, I'm going to have to kill you. I gotta tell some of my little dark ass feminine stories. I'll put a couple of barrels to a couple of skulls. I'm not one to fucking play with. But I like to keep that under wraps. Right? I like to keep that under wraps. But also, I've gotten to the point where I would prefer to tell my story in a way that can help other people instead of landing my ass in prison. Because even aliens get locked up. And you know what I mean? I don't know. Military got some shit I may not know how to fuck with. Till I figure that out. I'm going to keep my ass out of jail. And I'm going to talk to y'all in the next story time. Know this. Human or not, shit. Because I'm low-key playing. Human or not, right? I don't know why I keep saying human or not. Humans, as us as people. Don't let nobody steal your fucking light. Because what makes you the person that they wish they never did that shit to, what makes you the person that gets these people their karma, what makes you the person that causes judgment onto these people, what makes you the person that makes these people live in torment for the rest of their fucking natural lives to the point that they don't even want to live no more, but they gotta pretend like life is good when they not around you, so you can, like, oh, how come they don't get? Fuck them. Don't worry about what they gonna get. They gonna get it. But what makes you not stand in that? Because what happens is, the reason why they're living their happy-go-fucking lives, or at least the reason why they get to, and having you feeling like they're not getting the karma or the judgment that they deserve, is because you're sitting in it. You're sitting in their seat. Get the fuck up. Let them sit there. That's their filth. Don't you wear that fucking suit. You get your ass up, and you show them why the fuck they even did this shit in the first place. Because the only reason why they ever do this shit in the first place is because your light is too goddamn bright. Tell them bitches put some shades on. Tell that motherfucker put some shades on if you too bright. But don't you dim that shit. What they say, the sun doesn't fucking dim its light for you because it's too bright. You better get a motherfucking umbrella. But the sun gonna keep shining the same way it does every day. And then you see these goddamn chemtrails. I don't think you can say them. You see these motherfucking clouds. Yeah. Because they had to figure out how to make that light dimmer. But they can't turn it off. Don't let them turn your shit off. I'll see y'all in the next video.